Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be covering the top fragrance releases from this past week. This is a series I do here on this channel every single Monday, and if you're interested in more fragrance content, I publish videos on Wednesdays and Fridays as well, so definitely subscribe if you're interested in fragrances. But I'm really excited about this week because we have a ton of really intriguing releases, from affordable ones to really high-end and niche fragrances as well. So if you're interested, definitely keep on watching. First up, I have a new release from Commodity. This is going to be their Juice fragrance. And if you're unfamiliar with Commodity, they have 3 different tiers of how they release their fragrances. So they have the personal setting, they have the expressive, and then they have the bold. So personal is supposed to be the lightest, expressive is supposed to be a little bit more intense, and then bold is supposed to be the maximum intensity. So I'm going to cover personal first, and keep in mind I have not tried these fragrances. I am going to be testing them and I will be sharing my opinions with you, but these are just my overall first impressions based on the notes themselves. So the personal has top notes of strawberry and raspberry, a heart note of violet leaf, and then a base of rhubarb. Next, expressive has top notes of red fruits, strawberry, and raspberry, a heart note of rhubarb, and then a base of amberwood. Finally, the Juice Bold has notes of strawberry pulp at the top, a heart note of rhubarb, and then a base of amberwood. So just based off of first impressions, this looks like it would be a very fruity scent, and it varies in intensity, of course, but I'm picturing something that's similar to Burberry Her, something that's very focused on that fruity strawberry. I am personally very much looking forward to trying these fragrances out, and previously I might have been someone who was very much only interested in the super bold and intense fragrances, but now I think my tastes have changed. So I am just as open to trying out the lighter version, the less intense version, as I am open to trying out the really bold and intense versions as well. So I'm very intrigued by this release. This is an absolute smash for me. I'm really excited to try it out. Next, we have a new fragrance by Xerjoff. This is called the Homme Anniversary for men, and this is a special edition fragrance that is supposed to chronicle the note of leather. And this perfume has notes of lemon mousse, bergamot, and tarragon at the top, heart notes of orange blossom, tonka bean, clove, and leather, and then a base of vanilla, candied fruits, moss, and syntrax. This sounds absolutely divine. I think this would absolutely be a fragrance that I would be interested in trying out. I think Xerjoff as a brand is very good at taking bold notes and making it very elegant. They do that especially well with leather, and we see that with the fragrances from Tony Iommi, for instance, and with this one I have no doubt that this will be an absolutely very interesting display of leather. I haven't tried this perfume, so I can't speak to it, but just based on the notes, this would absolutely be one fragrance I'm very interested in trying out. And plus the bottle looks very interesting and very edgy. I just love the Xerjoff bottles. Can you tell I'm fangirling just a bit? But I think this would be a release I would definitely be interested in trying out personally. Next, we have a flanker by Davidoff. This is Cool Water Reborn, and this perfume will have notes of galbanum at the top, a heart note of amber, and then a base of vetiver. Now, this is one of those fragrances that I think would be just about okay. I think that vetiver is a wonderful note to have, especially in men's fragrances, but personally, I can't say that I'm super interested in this release. If you are obsessed with Cool Water as a fragrance, of course, let me know, but I personally am not too keen on sampling this fragrance. If I have the opportunity to, I will absolutely give this one a try, but I think that this is just a fragrance that I think would be cool, but this is not a fragrance I'm very fascinated to try out. I think vetiver is a wonderful fragrance note to have in a lot of masculine fragrances, but I can't say this is especially piquing my interest in any way, shape, or form. This is a pretty fragrance. I'm sure it'll be fine, but this is not something that's really spiking my curiosity personally. If you think differently, of course, let me know. So the next fragrance is by Fragrance du Bois. This is a special edition Harrods perfume that's called Rude Oud. And yes, you heard me correctly. This is literally called Rude Oud, and it has top notes of saffron and raspberry, a heart note of rose and leather, and then base notes of oud and amber. Objectively, this seems like an absolutely very interesting fragrance. I mentioned before that I really like leather, and I also do love rose. So objectively, this would be a fragrance I'm interested in smelling. But I do think it's worth noting that they are with these kinds of releases, I think more expensive and niche brands are catering towards a very specific customer. As someone who doesn't necessarily have the budget to go for like a very expensive fragrance like this, I don't think I would be very drawn towards a fragrance that literally said Rude Oud in the name. So I think that they are most certainly going for their existing Fragrance du Bois customer. They're not looking for anyone new. They're trying to cater towards the people that are already familiar with the notes or with the fragrances they have. So they're not looking for anyone new with this release. This is just catered towards the existing Harrods or Fragrance du Bois customer. So this personally is not a fragrance that I would resonate with. This is not something that I am looking for specifically because of the marketing, because this is a fragrance that happens to be priced at Fragrance du Bois price point, but doesn't take itself too seriously. So personally, and I'm being very transparent with you, I would not be able to spend this amount of money on a fragrance like this without taking it seriously. So if we're talking about spending hundreds of dollars on a fragrance, I don't want it to be a fragrance that's called Rude Oud. I want it to be a fragrance that's called something else. But that just goes to show, in this fragrance world, people are marketing towards different types of consumers. So in this case, this fragrance is not being marketed towards me, and that's why, for me, this is a pass. But objectively, this would seem like a very interesting fragrance to try. But if I had to be honest with you, I'd probably not go for this fragrance, and that is purely because of the marketing. But that just goes to show, sometimes fragrance brands market towards certain types of consumers, and they don't have to market towards everyone. They just have to market towards who is definitely going to buy their fragrance, and in this case, that is not me. We have a new limited edition release from Kayali. This is going to be the launch of 4 summer vacation inspired fragrances. So we have the fragrances right here, and I'll be listing out the notes for you as well. But we have Maui in a bottle, Capri in a bottle, Maldives in a bottle, and then Marrakesh in a bottle. So let's start off with describing the notes of Maui in a bottle. This is that green fragrance. This will have notes of sweet banana and pear at the top, a heart of coconut cream and jasmine, and then a base of sandalwood and vanilla. Next up, we have Capri in a bottle, and this fragrance will feature notes of lemon and sugar at the top, a heart note of freesia and raspberry, and then a base of vanilla and musk. Next, Maldives in a bottle will feature notes of rosemary and wild lemon at the top, a heart of starfruit, banana blossom, and ylang-ylang, and then a base of coconut milk. Finally, Marrakesh in a bottle. This will be the orange perfume. Features notes of bergamot, orange blossom, and pink pepper at the top, a heart notes of Turkish rose and neroli, and then a base of cedarwood. Personally, I am most excited about Maldives in a bottle and Capri in a bottle. I think those plays on aromatic notes and citruses is particularly intriguing to me. But because these are a limited edition, I don't know if I'd buy these personally. I don't know about you, but I always feel like sometimes limited edition bottles are less appealing to me than the mass market, always available collections. And I think partly it's because I talk about fragrances on here so regularly that I want to be able to showcase fragrances that are available to you. So if I'm buying a perfume that's limited edition, my ability to talk about it and to share about it is limited compared to if I buy something that's more permanent, then I can talk about it more with you and I can share it with you, and I don't have to worry about you being able to obtain it. Objectively, like I mentioned before, the Maldives in a bottle and the Capri in a bottle, those are the two that I would very much be interested in trying or potentially purchasing myself. But realistically, am I going to buy these fragrances? Probably not, but I do think that they're very intriguing plays on summer scents. I think this collection is absolutely one to try out, and I'd very much be curious about sampling this collection if it's if it's available to sample in store. Guerlain is launching a new version of La Petite Robe Noire Eau de Parfum. This is an updated packaging that comes in a heart shape as opposed to their more traditional bottle that they've had in the past. And this perfume will have notes of black cherry, almond, red berries, and bergamot at the top, a mid of licorice, damask rose, tea, and taif rose, and then a base of vanilla, anise, tonka bean, patchouli, and iris. I think this is a fragrance I'm particularly interested in trying if I get the opportunity to do so. I likely will not be blinded by this perfume, but I am very curious about the inclusion of cherry in this perfume, especially with the other more like darker notes such as licorice and tea. I think cherry, especially with recent releases, has proven to be a note that can be manipulated in various ways. Sometimes people go with a more fruity cherry. Sometimes cherry can be used as an accent with other notes. But I think overall this would be a fragrance that I would very much be interested in trying out. And I will say this, I think that the new packaging is something that I like a lot better than what they have previously done, especially with such an iconic brand as Guerlain. I think that this new packaging is something that I like a lot more than what they have previously done, which of course I will flash on the screen, but I think this is an improvement, so I would be interested in trying this one out. Next up, we have a brand that I have been very much interested in trying out in the past. This is Thin Wild Mercury, and they recently launched their new fragrance, which is called Chelsea Staircase, and this perfume features notes of lemon Earl Grey tea at the top, and then a mid of sunflower and stretched canvas, and then a base of antique wrought iron. This is a perfume I am very much interested in trying purely because of the artistry. They're clearly going for a particular type of concept, and because of that, I am very fascinated by the idea of trying this scent out. Thin Wild Mercury is a brand that has been on my radar for quite some time now. They have some really interesting releases. I've been curious about them. I would love the chance to try them, and I feel like this would be a good opportunity to do so. So keep your eyes peeled, because I will likely be doing a review on some samples from them. I would like to purchase some because I'm very curious about their fragrances, and this is just one of their latest releases that I am super curious about trying out. I would be looking forward to this, and also the marketing is super fascinating, and I find it very alternative and interesting as well. So this is definitely on the to try list for me personally. Next up is a little bit of a sneak peek. So if you're on TikTok, you might have already seen Avery. She is an influencer that specializes in Middle Eastern fragrances, and she is actually teasing the launch of 2 perfumes. So I recently saw this video from her, and she'll be launching Avery Jewel and Avery Ruby. And I believe one of them is supposed to be a lighter, fruitier, girly scent, and then the other one is supposed to be the more sensual, seductive perfume. I don't really have a lot of information about them. I will be covering them in future videos as we get to know more about these perfumes, but so far she's just teased the names and the general chords for these perfumes, so I don't have anything more to offer than that. Next up, we have a new release by Navitus. This is in collaboration with AI the Great. This is their 3rd collaboration, and this is a fragrance that's going to be called Amour Infinite, and as you can see, this comes in a beautiful pink bottle, and this fragrance will feature notes of Italian bergamot, red fruits, pomegranate, pineapple, and grapefruit at the top, a mid of orange blossom, honeysuckle, and rose and jasmine, and then a base of white chocolate, Madagascar, vanilla, heliotrope, driftwood, and sandalwood. Right off the bat, I can tell you this is a fragrance I would absolutely really be interested in trying out. I have decants of 2 of the other AI the Great collaborations with Navitus, and I will say this, their first one was like this caramelized banana, and then the second one was kind of like a candied apple. The candied apple one was nice, but my favorite was a caramelized banana. There was something very special about that fragrance that I was absolutely drawn to completely. That was such an interesting perfume, and this is coming from someone that doesn't typically like banana scents. That one was really good, and because of that, I'm very interested in trying this one out. I feel like This is an example of a gourmand done in a very interesting way, and there's something about the idea of putting white chocolate in with some fruits, especially a fruit like pomegranate that doesn't really get featured that much in perfumery, that I find very intriguing and very interesting. This is a perfume that I would absolutely be very interested in trying out, especially with that combination of white chocolate and pomegranate. Both of these are notes that we don't typically see a lot in perfumery, and I feel like this would be a very interesting and fun fragrance to try out. And of course, the bottle looks absolutely gorgeous. So let me know, are you ordering this fragrance? Is this something that you're interested in trying out? I personally think this would absolutely be a wonderful fragrance to try out. I don't know if I would buy it personally just yet, but this is an absolutely gorgeous fragrance, and I would much be interested in smelling this one out. Hello, it's me from the next day. There were some releases I missed, so I just want to insert myself here real quick so I can cover those releases for you. So we have a new release from Acro. This fragrance will be called Smile, and it features notes of bergamot, clary sage, natural raspberry, and musk. I really like seeing raspberries in fragrances. Like, it's one of my favorite berries to eat, and it's nice to see it in perfumes. And I'm not super familiar with Acro as a brand, but just from smelling a few of their scents, I can definitely say that my favorites from them have been the fruity fragrances, have been like the lighter, more like zesty perfumes. So this is something I would like to get my nose on. I'm trying to lean away from saying that, like, oh yeah, I'll blind buy this item. So this is not something I'd blind buy, but this is definitely a bit of a tentative smash for me. Is it something that I'm obsessed about just by reading the notes? Probably not, but I would be interested in smelling this fragrance myself. Something I'm really excited about sharing, and one of the reasons why I wanted to come back and film this segment of the video, is we finally have new information about Marissa Zappas' rebrand. Marissa Zappas is one of the most inventive and interesting perfumers right now, and she is actually rebranding, or rather redoing, the packaging on her fragrances, and personally I am obsessed. I think this new look is so interesting and so much fun. I love like the facets on the bottle. So pretty much every single one of her fragrances now has a new look. You might be already aware of this, but I have Annabelle's Birthday Cake, and that one is a fragrance I bought a few months ago, so that's in the old packaging. So here you can see like a few examples of like the new versus old packaging. I do prefer the new bottle. I think it's a lot more like unique and interesting. I mean, the old bottles were really cute as well, but they were a little bit more simplistic. I think this one is more elegant and inventive, and I think it fits into the kind of aesthetic of Marissa Zappas' brand, which is very inventive, but still taking inspiration from classical perfumery. Another fragrance I want to cover is Sun Musk by Haute Fragrance Company. This is what the packaging looks like, or rather what the bottle looks like. I'm sorry, sometimes I go in between packaging and bottle and use those two words interchangeably when probably they shouldn't be used interchangeably, but I, for one, am very much intrigued by this bottle. I think it's absolutely beautiful. This is supposed to be a light rendition of a summer musk fragrance, and it features notes of pink pepper, bergamot, and plum leaves at the top, a mid of neroli and white dahlia, and then a base of white musk, ambergris, and ash tree. Again, the thing that's calling my name with this release is most certainly the bottle design itself. I mean, the notes seem very interesting in and of themselves, but if I had to like tell you honestly what is really drawing me into this release, it would most certainly be the fact that the bottle looks so beautiful, like very angelic and classical and very unique at the same time. So this is something I'm really excited about. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one and found it useful and interesting. Let me know what new releases or rebrandings are you excited about. I think that there's a lot here that I really personally enjoyed seeing. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you're interested in binge watching the other videos in this new makeup releases or new fragrance releases Smash or Pass series, I have a playlist linked down below so you can binge watch all the content and catch up. But again, thank you so much for watching till the end of this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.